Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the webinar today. Our topic is managing your online reputation. Especially want to thank Zubin Meskinpush and Altus for having us today. We really appreciate the chance to be here. My name is Al Ferguson. I'm the Business Development Manager at Etna Interactive. Etna is a 12-year-old agency specializing in digital marketing for the aesthetic practice. Today, when we're talking about online reputation, the first question is, why worry about online reputation? We've been talking about online reputation at Etna for 5+ years. In the first 3 years, we met with a lot of apathy. A lot of people said, oh, I don't want to worry about that. Why can't my work just speak for itself? Do I have to do this? And in the last couple of years, that's really turned around. It seems that doctors and everyone is starting to understand the power of reputation, how important it is, and they're ready to engage. And really the reason is because online reputation truly impacts your patients and your profitability. Take a look at this statistic. It's from the Pew Research Center. This is actually a few years old, but it says that 84% of Internet users go online to aid in their health care decisions. That's a large percentage of people who are going on the Internet to get information. I also saw a stat from a firm called Bright Local. They are a local search marketing firm, and they do a lot of research. They did a study and asked some questions, and 88% of the people they surveyed said that they trust online reviews more than they do a recommendation from a friend. Okay, so we look to our friends for information, we trust our friends, but 9 out of 10 of us trust the reviews we see online more than we do a friend. What that's really telling us is that the Internet has come to be seen as a place to get unbiased information, a lot of information, and people are really using it to help them make decisions. Bottom line is, we really have to pay attention. One more reason, if that's not convincing enough, is that it really shows up in search results. Your reputation now is being seen and viewed and displayed on search results. This is a search we did for dermatologist Calgary. And if you take a look at the top listing, it's a Yelp listing. Second listing is a Yelp listing, both review site listings. If you look at the local map, the search results for local, you're going to see Google reviews. In this case, one of our clients here has 4.5 stars showing. And we might as well include that first listing in the map pack because their Google Plus page is listed there. And then the very last search result is, again, a review site, RateMDs. So you're getting at least passive exposure from reviews right here on search results. In fact, 60 to 70% of the content seen on search results pages above the fold is reviews and ratings or related to reviews and ratings in one way or another. So there is a big impact. I'm going to pause a second here because this next statistic is kind of scary. We did an interview, or I'm sorry, a study. We just went out and looked at 100 random clinics and practices across the U.S. And we found that over half of them have no reviews at all. And 83% had fewer than 5. So we have a situation where people are turning to reviews and ratings to help them make decisions, where search engines are prominently displaying review sites and results from reviews and ratings, and yet 83% of clinics have less than 5. So what that means is just a handful of people are governing the reputation of these practices, of your average practice. And that's having your reputation really riding on a very small number of reviews and ratings and input from a small number of people. Now this might appear demotivating to some people. They might say, well, hey, if half the people aren't getting reviews, why should I worry about it? On the other hand, maybe it's motivating. Maybe you can say, hey, if half the people aren't, I can get on this and be ahead of the game. Hopefully that's enough motivation for you. But in case you need more, take a look at the statistic as well. 72% of patients actively avoid clinics with bad reviews. This is a statistic from Demandforce. So many of you are familiar with Demandforce. It's a well-known practice management software, and they collect a lot of reviews, and they do their own research. Now, if 70%, 7 out of 10 people who see a bad review go another direction, how important is it to have a positive portrayal online? Yes, I would agree it's very, very important. So what we're talking about today is a positive reaction to negative reviews. And there are really 3 things we're going to talk about. The first is behaving better, really understanding what causes negative reviews, and then how to avoid them. We'll talk a lot about that. We'll also talk about actively cultivating positive reviews, making sure that you have positive reviews. It's the best defense against the occasional negative review. And thirdly, we're going to talk about what else you can do to make sure that what people see online is telling your story and really relating to you as a person, as a practice, more than just how many stars you are. So getting onto that first topic right away, let's talk about what causes bad reviews. Because the most common cause of bad reviews is communication. No, really, it's how people interact with your practice before they ever get to see you in a consultation. Communication is by far the most common concern. This is data from Real Patient Ratings. They do a lot of benchmarking of patient experience and data. And what we have here are a graphic depiction of concerns, of negative reviews and where they come from. So the blue are concerns about their interaction with people, that they had a rude or disinterested person talking to them, or just a bad experience in some way or another with one of your staff, and it could be a doctor as well. And then the red is wait time concerns. Usually waiting in the waiting room. Come for their consultation at 9, and by 10 o'clock, no one's talked to them. They've just been sitting there, and they're wondering what's going on. So between those 2 concerns, they're 8 times more likely to be the cause of a bad review than how much it costs or the actual outcome itself. So what that's telling us is you've got to pay attention to how you're interacting with your prospective patients. So the most common causes, again, difficulty in scheduling. I'm not talking about the fact that you might be booked up and someone has to wait 3, 4, or 5, even 6 weeks for a consultation. What the concern most cited is that the person on the other end of the phone could see an available appointment on the calendar but didn't know how to schedule it and just took a long time, or just flat out was unable to get the information entered and let the people know, and it gave them a very bad impression. Disinterested or discourteous staff. So people need to be nice. Extended wait times. Let's talk about that a little bit more. Everyone gets backed up once in a while. If that happens, you need to train your staff to walk out and talk to people. Let them know that some people came in late. The doctor's backed up because he always makes sure everyone gets their due attention and questions answered, and he wants to make sure you do too, but he is running late. Are you still available to wait, or would you like to reschedule? Or better yet, if you collect cell phone numbers ahead of time and you know you're backed up, try to make the phone calls and let people know that you're backed up so that you can really ward off that displeasure of having to wait too long. And furthermore, once you do get them in, don't rush the consultation. A big complaint is that once they do get in, they don't get the time with the doctor that they like, so they feel like they didn't get good attention. And another major complaint is poor management of expectations. So setting the bar too high, not explaining the procedure well, not talking about the outcome in a way that's very clear so people know what to expect. And these are all concerns and issues that you can handle before they ever get a procedure. And a lot of these negative reviews are coming from people that never did schedule a procedure, so they don't even know how good the doctor is. Now, one more statistic in this category, just to make it super clear how important this scheduling and that first impression and contact is. So Real Patient Ratings, our friends at Real Patient Ratings, Maria Olesen, collects wonderful data. This particular study interviewed or took a survey of people before consultation, at the consultation, and after their procedure. And the highest correlation of success in converting a consultation to a procedure was satisfaction with the scheduler. So the first impression they had with the competency of the person on the other end of the phone and getting them set up for their consultation was the highest correlation with success in converting them to an actual procedure. Very, very powerful. You might consider moving to a fee for consultation model if you don't do that already. Our friend Karen Zupko did a webinar on this topic with our president, Ryan Miller, recently. You can find it on our website in our Learning Center. And Karen is a consultant who has been helping practices in the aesthetic space for over 20 years. She's wonderful, very strong opinion on this subject. And she really believes that you're going to get a much higher quality consultation if you're charging for it. You can manage those consultations better because you don't have to worry about people dropping out. You don't have to worry about the people that are just showing up to get information. And then you can spend the time with them and really answer their questions and give them full attention. And it's a very successful model. So you might consider that. So what we're really talking about in general here is patient experience optimization. Your web vendors or workers, your SEO, the PEO is in your control. So when you hear negative reviews, take a look at your practice. Is there something you can improve? Does your staff need more training? Are there people who are unhappy and you need to make sure that they're interacting with patients in a positive way? Make sure you train your staff to schedule efficiently. And if your software is hard to use, get a new one. I recommend that you go try your own scheduling software, and if it's difficult for you, maybe you don't have the right one. Because remember that statistic, the highest correlation was satisfaction with the scheduler. So make sure that works. Attempt to reduce those wait times, and when you get them in, make sure you give them your full attention and don't rush them out the door. And then work to ensure that patients feel heard, they get their concerns addressed, and set expectations well. And then finally, when you do have happy patients, make sure you ask them to share their experiences. Ask them to get out there online. Now that's our second topic, and let's talk about cultivating positive reviews. Now this is not something new. We have been talking about this for a long time. And the bad news is there's no shortcut. So we're going to shoot the shortcut sign full of holes here because there is no easy way. Now the good news is there's no easy way for anyone else. Anyone who is behaving ethically is on the same playing field that you are and has the same challenge in getting reviews and ratings online. So it's just something you really have to do. And if you're thinking about behaving unethically or trying to use a system to get reviews posted for you or use some easy way, I highly discourage you from doing so. It could result in reviews being filtered. It could be even result even in you having been blacklisted on a review site. And even worse, there are places and times where it's construed as you posting on behalf of someone else, and that could be misleading, false or fraudulent and misleading advertising and jeopardize your license to practice. So do the right thing. Let's talk about the right thing and how that works. You really need to cultivate ratings and reviews, and the first thing you need to do is know which sites are the most important ones in your market. This can change dramatically from area to area. If you're on the West Coast, especially from San Francisco up through Seattle, Yelp is huge. Yelp is really big. They could be as many as 3 or 4 listings on the first page for a procedural search term. So Yelp is an important place to focus on. Health grades might be big in your area. It could be RateMDs. It could be a regional site, a regional directory. In Canada, they have some other services that are rated highly by the search engines. Of course, Google reviews are very important, and you want to make sure you focus there. It's important to ask people if they're a Google user and encourage them to go to Google. But the way that you do this is do a search for procedure terms that you know people are searching for to find you, and see which review sites come up on that first page. It's pretty simple to do. Choose 5 to 10 terms, and you'll probably see a pattern of which review sites come up the most, and that's where you want to focus your attention. So the second thing that you want to do is make it easy for people to go on to the right site and leave a review for you. Tools are wonderful, simple tools. This example that just popped up is from a trip to Mexico that our president, Ryan Miller, took for vacation. And he loves this story because it really was effective. At the end of a nice dinner at the little place called Casa Isabel, the waiter came up to him and said, with a tear in his eye, really this is how Ryan tells the story, he said that if you had a good meal, would you please go to TripAdvisor and leave us a good review? It would mean so much to me and my family, because the only way I can feed my family is if we stay busy during the slow season, and the only way we stay busy in the slow season is if we show up well on TripAdvisor. And he handed him this piece of paper signed by the staff, and that impassioned plea and this tool that Ryan took home to back to his hotel room, he actually left the review before he left Mexico. So simple tools, a postcard, a business card, a piece of paper, really are effective. But what was really important was the way that that waiter asked for the review. So a sincere plea, it means a lot to our practice. Are you a Google user? Oh, great. Well, if not, oh, well, maybe you could take this and go to one of the review sites and leave a review for us. So finding out if they're a Yelp user, Google user, or just maybe one of the other review sites, and having 1 or 2 tools there. And the next thing we're talking about is moving beyond reviews. A lot of surgeons come to us and they say, I'm so much more than 3 stars. I hate the review sites. They don't tell the whole story. Our response is, yes. Yes, you are much more. Help us tell your story. So you want to do everything you can to look good online. So you want to highlight your professional resume and your presentation, and actually go much beyond your resume. We'll talk about that in a moment. Show how much you care. Share your expertise through syndication. Syndication is just sharing your content on other websites. And then prove that people like you. Social media, using friends. All right, so let's give your credentials deeper dimensions. Let's show more of you. This is an example of one of our clients in the Austin market. And Dr. Piazza is a young surgeon, very approachable, very cool guy. And what we have done here is show his more personal side and really getting to know him. There's 5 video clips from local media. And if you were to scroll down this, you would see a question and answer format as if he was being interviewed by a magazine. And it really lets you get to know his personal side a little bit, his approach and how he thinks. And it's a great way of getting deeper than the standard bio page with a resume and the white coat or the suit. So, you know, you can show the real person behind the practice, and people really like that. Another thing that you can do is highlight your experience very prominently. This is one of our clients in the Chicago area. He's done a lot of facelifts. He's done a lot of surgeries, very experienced, very, very good outcomes. If you were to be able to see more of this animation, he holds patents, and he's done a lot of research, and he does a lot of speaking. And then another client really likes to highlight the humanitarian work he does. He travels throughout the world giving free surgeries, and he shares it on his website. He also shares it on his blog twice a year whenever he does a trip. And it's a very powerful way of letting people know that he cares and that he does work because he loves the work. And if he loves his work that much, how much will he love working with you? So the other thing we can talk about here is proving your expertise, sharing content. This is the syndication part. Real Self is very big into this, and you may have been at a conference lately and seen Real Self promoting their video channel. They also allow you to share your content on their website. Very popular website, and you have the ability to get reviews here, to answer questions, and really show that you care because you're donating your time and your expertise for the benefit of all. Video is another powerful way of sharing content. This is an example of the plastic surgery channel. Excellent way of getting your video out there. You might as well be your own YouTube channel. That's another way of doing it. And when you do video, make sure the content of the video is patient-centric. Patients want to hear about how a procedure is going to change their life, how it will improve them, how safe it is, what the complications are. They don't want to hear about how wonderful you are. So really make sure you're tailoring that video to what patients like to see. Another excellent use of video is if you can cultivate local media coverage. This shows a lot of credibility. I mean, if a TV channel is going to come to your practice and interview you, that is a wonderful testament and endorsement from the local media. It's also very good for search engine optimization. This is a client of ours in the Shreveport, Louisiana area. They got this attention when they brought in the Vectra 3D technology, and it was a way of promoting on their website as well as YouTube, and it's on the TV channel website. So when we're looking at sharing content, remember, with Real Self, you can show how much you care by how many answers you have given on a particular subject or topic. And there are other ways of sharing and spreading your message. Local blogs is a very good way of doing it as well. But the first step is to claim the listings for your business. These are listings like your Yelp page, Yellow Pages, RateMDs, any of the review sites, your YouTube channel, any of the free web properties where you can tell Google through that listing who you are, where you are, get your name, address, and phone number exactly correct on all those listings, post photos, fill out the entire profile. All of that is very good for helping spread your message. Then share your content freely on other sites. We talked about Real Self a couple times here. Your YouTube channel, it could be on other people's blogs. Again, cultivating media placement is another great way to get your information on other websites. And consider paying for placement when a website is hard to get on but is very prominent. Yelp is a good example. If Yelp is the 4 or 5 of the first page listings, it might be a good tactic to buy some advertising space so that you show up on that first page. Now let's talk about sharing yourself, surrounding yourself with friends, sharing your content on your own Facebook page. So how many friends you have can really make a big impact on how you're seen online. This is an example of a practice in the Santa Rosa area. This is just north of San Francisco. Now, this is not a huge market. Santa Rosa is a medium-sized community, and this is a very popular practice. As you can see, they have 6,600 likes. They are really big into sharing and caring about their patients and creating community. They love to tell real stories of their patients and show real patients, and it has really endeared them to the community. As you can see, they have 231 ratings with a 4.5-star rating, and as I said, over 6,000 likes. So this makes a big impact. I mean, if they have a couple bad reviews, and then people come here and they see 4.5 stars from people who are on Facebook, and willing to let others know that they like this practice and rated them well, it could really change their mind and say, well, maybe one or two bad reviews doesn't tell the whole story, and they want to talk to you about what you need. So it really can make a big impact. And yes, reviews are now social. Your Facebook business page has a place to leave reviews. And again, these are people whose identity is known and they're still willing to share. So if you can cultivate that, it is a very positive reflection on you. So as we go through this and talk about positive reaction to negative reviews, let's bring all these ideas together. And the real question is, what can you do to react positively? And even more importantly, act before negative reviews happen. So understand and avoid those triggers. Remember, make sure that your scheduling software works, that your staff is well trained, that you're being courteous and understanding of their times and scheduling. Then actively cultivate positive reviews. Extend beyond reviews for a robust online portrayal. In other words, what can you do on your own website to show the real you, to share content on other websites, and develop that social community on Facebook and other social media sites. So if you want to learn more, please subscribe to our newsletter. You can go to etnainteractive.com and sign up for our newsletter there. You'll also find lots of great information in our Learning Center. And you can follow us on Facebook. My email is al@etnainteractive.com, and feel free to email me anytime you like. And thank you for joining us for this webinar on online reputation. Let's take some questions. I can see there are a few questions here. Here is a question about reputation services. And what kind of services do we recommend? It's an excellent question. I want to talk about that for a little while. So what you have to be careful of is that there is no one-size-fits-all reputation management service. And when you're evaluating them, you want to really think about what it is you need and what you want, because different services do different pieces of the reputation management better or worse. So do you need monitoring? Do you want help cultivating positive reviews? Some of them are good at diluting the negative review, and there really is no one answer for everything. We're not a big fan of services at Etna because it's kind of that thing where, well, you just hope it goes in their hands and they take care of it for you. And we know from experience there is no better success than asking for that review and having your own tool on hand to help to send them away with. That is by far the most successful way of getting reviews and ratings. But there are some services that do some good work, and if it's your only answer, the only thing you can do, then look for a good one. I will caution against that service that calls up and says, have you seen the negative review on Yelp? I can get that taken down, or negative review on RateMDs anywhere. And they say they can get it taken down. You pay them a few $100s, and sure enough, that review disappears. A few months later, another negative review pops up. They call you up and say, hey, we can do it again. There are only two people that can take down a review, the person that wrote it or the actual review site on which it was posted. Now, if you can show that that review breaks the guidelines and the policies of the review site by using bad language or threatening or some other way of documenting that it's not a real patient, then you may have success getting that removed. But the only other way is if it's the actual person that placed the review. So if someone is guaranteeing that they can take down a review, chances are they're the ones that put it up and are just charging you money to take down what they wrote, and it's really a scam. So be very skeptical of those kinds of services. There is no company out there that has a special relationship with Yelp or RateMDs or Google or anyone else around the review situation. So again, be careful of those. What is your recommendation for increasing social media engagement? Oh, that is a good question. Sometimes you're try hard, you're trying to get likes, you're trying to get people to go on. They might be a little bit cautious. You want to develop likes, keep letting people know you're on Facebook. Part of it is having good content out there, posting information of interest, letting people know what's going on. Here is an idea. Go on to social media, look in Facebook, maybe some of your competitors or other successful service businesses in your area, and look at what's being successful for them. Look at the Facebook pages, the business pages that have a lot of engagement where people are commenting and liking and interested, and see what kinds of campaigns they're doing. It might be something like a giveaway, maybe a weekend away or a prize, or it could be events that are happening where you're supporting a local charity. Well, whatever it is, if it's successful there, it could be successful for you. So don't steal their idea directly, but model a campaign similar to theirs and work to get engaged in that way. Another good question. If the doctor keeps asking for a review but gets no response, what should we do? So frustrating. Yes, it can be frustrating. And here's my experience. Most surgeons are used to a very high success rate. I mean, we're talking 99% success rate. Very, very high standards for a surgeon. And in the reviews world, 1 in 40 is pretty good. 1 in 30 is very good. And if you're getting 1 in 20 people that you ask to go leave a review or do a rating, that is an extremely high success rate. And it's really hard to convince someone who's close to 100% success rate that they're doing great at 5%. So it's easy to get discouraged. So don't get discouraged. You have to ask everybody. And in fact, if everyone went and left a review, then the review sites are going to look at you and go, no, that doesn't fly. You can't have no reviews and then all of a sudden have 20. You must have done something to coerce or somehow get those people to do it. So those would all get filtered, and it wouldn't work anyway. Having 1 or 2 reviews a month come on a positive nature is going to show that people care about you and they're saying good things, and that's the kind of regular activity they want to see. Now, you also can focus in, we talked a little bit about this, where you find out if they're a Yelp user. And if they are, ask them to go into Yelp. Maybe they're a Google user, and you can encourage them to go to Google. And if not, maybe you have a tool with the RateMDs and a couple other review sites that are the ones you want to focus on. I can tell you what won't work in reviews, and that's to send them directly to your review page, because really the review sites, and there's a question here about Yelp, what do we do about Yelp? And let's talk about that in relation to the review sites. Yelp isn't going anywhere, and they can be super challenging. And this question states right here, we have so many filtered reviews that are positive, so frustrating because they're only showing the negative ones. This we hear a lot, and it's true. Now, you have to think about Yelp. Yelp is trying to give information that everyone can trust. And what they don't trust is someone that goes on, creates an account, doesn't fill out the profile, leaves 1 positive review, and then never comes back. They do trust people who have a robust profile, a picture, maybe they make some friends on Yelp. They leave a lot of reviews. So it's easy to trust that they're a real person. They don't trust it when it may be a computer that set it up, or it's just a one-time off. Then it's, because it's unlikely that someone who's just trying to scam the system is going to set up a full profile. So again, they're looking for people they can trust, and they want a lot of people they can trust. They like what we call rich text review, just long descriptions that you really can tell it's a real person. So the challenge there is getting people who are on Yelp. We have had practices that ran specials on Yelp with a special offer that's only through Yelp. And when someone comes in to schedule their consultation or procedure for that special offer, you know it's a Yelp user. So then you roll out the red carpet, make sure they have the best experience ever, and you're likely to get more positive reviews on Yelp. I know it's playing the Yelp game a little bit, but like I said, they're not going anywhere. They are a big deal in many markets, so it may be worthwhile. And the general feeling of people, the review sites liking people they can trust is true. So that's just very important. Here's another question. What is the best tool for capturing patient evaluations? It's hard to say what is the very best tool. We do like patient ratings, which you saw some data from them. They are an excellent service. They're very good at getting surveys and getting people back, information back. You can use paper surveys. We often set up a fan club page that's not very prominent on the website, not in the main navigation, but we give out that URL to people to go, and there's information about how to leave reviews in other places and a place for them to leave a review there on the website. So, and give real feedback to the practice. So there's a number of different ways there. What review sites should we focus on? I'll go back to in the presentation I talked about doing a search in your area and find out what review sites are showing up in your area. Those are the ones to focus on. Yelp is a big one. Google reviews always, but there may be several others that are even more important in your area. Here's a great question. What do you do if a patient persistently trashes you on your review sites or social media? That's a tough one, and you have to approach this very carefully. If that reviewer is talking about a quality of service, I couldn't get scheduled, and she's just that he or she is going off on you because your scheduler was so stupid and they couldn't even handle their own software. It might be a good idea to respond positively. Let them know you're sorry they had a bad experience, that you hold very high standards for customer service. This is not the norm at our practice, and we would very much like to make it up to you. Please call us and let us make it up. So you're showing a human side, saying I'm sorry, that you do care. If the reviewer is writing in all caps and saying crazy things, and it's pretty obvious they're crazy, it's obvious they're crazy to other people too, so you don't have to worry about that one, because the only other people that will believe it are crazy too, and you don't have to worry because you don't want more crazy people. Now, if that person is talking about a bad outcome, a bad procedural outcome, then don't respond at all and contact your lawyer, because that could be indication of a coming malpractice issue, and anything you say could be used in court, so you want to make sure that you're very careful there. That looks like it's all the questions. Thank you for joining us. Good luck with your online reputation. Take those steps. Be positive. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, al@etnainteractive.com. And thank you again, Unaltis.